This is the 80s Show on iHeartRadio.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Say ho, ho. Say ho, whoa, ho, whoa. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Oh, it's a glorious day. It really is. Why? Because Sam Firestein is here today. Multiple Moth Storytelling Slam winner. Sam Firestein is here today. And last time he was on the show, not only did he regale us with awesome tales of what was the last one about? It was so awesome that it was a very involved story about, the reason I'm blanking on this is not necessarily because I can't remember it. It was absolutely riveting. But I just thought of something. I thought that Sam goes out and tells these stories. He does it live. He does it on other radio programs. He does it all over the place. And I don't want to give anything away. I just realized it'd be kind of like giving away magician's tricks. How would you describe the last story you told on the show, Sam?
In a word?
In one word, sure. Just take the one.
Traumatic.
Traumatic. Yes, a traumatic story of love and
let's just say this past weekend, several people wished me a happy Father's Day.
Right. Okay. Good. That's an excellent way of summing it up. But we love it when Sam's on the show. Oh, go on.
Well, just for the tens of followers out there who don't know me, I, for the most part, don't have children.
Right. For the most
ish.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
no, it's compelling stuff, and
it's a gray
and
area with me.
You're going to be on the show today. You already are on the show, but you're going to be on the show today, sharing a story of the pizza party of death.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The pizza party of death.
It sounds like a rock album by like Slayer. Pizza party of death.
Slayer after they have children and spend birthdays at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
I'm also a little thrown off because, like, on the way into the station today, I was like, oh, let me pull up some other stuff Sam's done, and I came across your Alaska Bingo story on KCRW, and I was listening to the podcast of that as I was coming in. What's the name of the guy that hosts that?
Leah Tao.
I couldn't get his delivery out of my head, and as I opened the mic today, I almost went in today we're joined by Sam Firestein. What got me thinking about the whole concept of death and pizza parties put together was once, and I can't get the NPR delivery out of my head, and it's really kind of distracting me as we go through this. But for those that missed you,
warm bowl of water this morning, and we're welcoming Pete's sweaty balls.
I shouldn't be directing people to listen to other people's shows. I guess that's if I could not do things like this, I'd probably be living in a nicer place and driving a nicer car. But that show, the intro he did to your story was a really interesting one because he sort of started it with his own story. He was like, I remember when my baby was 9 years old and my husband had decided he didn't want to be my husband after all. So I managed to go to India with my baby. I was like, oh my God, I'm totally hooked in. But how do people in these scholarly NPR-ish sort of worlds get themselves into these situations? Because he told this story in this sort of delivery about the fact that his fiance didn't want to marry him.
Sounds like the comic book man.
Yeah. He had an adopted 9-month-old baby, and he needed some respite. So he took a job producing theater in Tibet, community theater in Tibet, and was given a place to stay in the foothills of the Himalayas. How do people wind up in situations where they're producing amateur theater in Tibet and living in the foothills of the Himalayas? These are job offers that do not come across my desk ever, and I'm in radio too. How are these NPR folks getting themselves into these awesome situations? Anyone? Sam, this is more your world than mine.
Well, a couple of things. One, about directing people to listen to NPR when you're also on competing radio. That's sort of like being a TV star and saying maybe my audience should like occasionally read a book. So don't worry. It's like it's not that big of a deal to promote the NPR once in a while. But as far as like how does that go? A couple of other things. One, it's actually not a guy who hosts that show. It's a woman. And
what?
Yeah,
really?
Yes, and and she's Dutch, and English is her second language, and she is one of the creators of The Moth, and she's
That's
pretty.
A chick?
Yeah, well, I like to say that she's a woman.
I could not sound more sort of like douchey at the moment than I do. Like, this totally sounded like a dude to me, brah. When I was listening to NPR, I couldn't even tell if it was a guy or a girl. Ha ha! I feel like Duff Man in the face of it all. This is not a good look for me. Are you kidding me? That's a chick? I'm never getting invited on KCRW.
Well, I don't think I'll be invited back now, so
That's okay. They don't listen to commercial radio anyway, right?
But
well, cut my junk and call me Caitlin. Go on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well,
guy or
anyway,
girl, how does one get invited to produce amateur theater in the foothills of the Himalayas? These are job opportunities.
I don't know, but if I could
my
ever
desk.
get a job opportunity, I have another friend who's a singer in a band. She's another one of those NPR types where she's a singer in a band, she's an ex-professional boxer, and has 2 MFAs. And she was invited to produce and direct a play in a cave in Greece. And they were going to spend good money to put her up for 3 months to do this. Great jobs come across other people's desks, jobs I will never have in my life.
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Steve Winwood. Blind faith staples, such as Can't Find My Way Home, continue to rank among Winwood's finest achievements. In 1970, Winwood reformed Traffic and guided a highly successful run founded on such popular albums as Low-Hilled, Spark of High-Heeled Boys, and Shootout at the Fantasy Factory.
No matter what they say, no matter what they do, gonna end up in the middle of that rock and roll stew, and I'll be down, down, down.
By 1975, Traffic splintered as the allure of solo projects and new creative partnerships proved too tempting to resist. 1977's solo debut, Steve Winwood, signaled a bold new artistic direction. Beginning with Traffic and extending through such landmark solo albums as the Grammy Award-winning Back in the High Life and Roll With It, Winwood has nurtured a restless creative spirit, mining rich musical traditions such as Delta blues, English folk, R&B, and West African calypso, and merging these influences within his own unmistakable sound.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Steve Winwood and all your favorite artists.
From the vantage point, Mafatu saw 6 war canoes drawn up on the beach. But what held the boy's eyes in awful trance were the figures, the eaters of men, cannibals. Mafatu watched the strange scene, powerless to move. In that very instant, he heard a crashing in the undergrowth. 4 figures were tearing through the jungle. He turned and ran blindly down the trail, thinking only of his canoe. If only he could reach it before the savages overtook him. Explore new worlds. Find out what happens next by reading the book Call It Courage by Armstrong Sperry. For other great book ideas, visit literacy.gov. A message from the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Hey, you, what's that sound? Coming so loud from your radio dial. ADV getting down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city.
We are joined in the studio today by storyteller extraordinaire Sam Firestein. See what I did there? I have a mnemonic device for remembering the correct pronunciation of Sam Firestein's name. Are you impressed?
Yeah.
See?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. After knowing me for years and many attempts, you got my last name right. Fantastic. Bravo. Well done. You're a broadcasting superstar.
You, my friend, are You're going places.
Yeah.
At least in the Jewish community.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely not going to a amateur theater in the Himalayas to produce Tibetan. Anyways.
No, but the Jew Burger Bar Mitzvah is looking to have you.
You know, when you described your last name as being Jew Burger last time, I can't, like, what was the...
Yeah, I think it was Jew Burger Steen.
But Good Burger?
Good Burger?
The movie. Yeah, there was a movie back in the day. Welcome to Good Burger.
Yeah, the Good Burger.
Ever since you described yourself as being Jew Burger, I've had knocking around in my head, welcome to Good Burger, your order we could take. And it got me thinking, Yoda's Jewish, right?
Why would we think that?
Well, because of that whole sort of like accepted idea. In fact, I once saw a Jewish deli delivery truck cruising around, and it was like, Jeffrey's Deli, to you we deliver. That whole thing of putting the preposition at the beginning of the sentence, which is not incorrect, but I think people strongly identify with. I think people strongly identify with the Jewish community. To you we deliver. Of that, I'm not so sure. Your order I could take. That. It's distinctly Yoda-esque in its delivery, and it made me think. I was just like, that whole putting the preposition in front of the sentence and restructuring it in a way that's easily identified as being Jewish. Yoda does that all the time. Yoda's got to be sort of like a rabbinical figure in Star Wars. Am I way off, or does this make sense? I think it makes sense.
I mean, honestly, it's like, because really, what's better to do than relate biblical figures to science fiction or science fiction to biblical figures?
Well,
you think about it. It's like, I guess Ben could be Moses, right? Like Obi-Wan could be Moses, and yeah, sure, we'll take him. Look, our numbers are so thin, and he's got a huge Twitter following. We'll take him. Yes, we will. Or, we will, yes.
A mitzvah it is. So,
oh, look, the protesters are here.
I maybe after you're done telling your story of the pizza party of death, we should delve a little bit deeper into this world of political correctness and what carries weight and what doesn't. I mean, because we live in a world where identifying the fact that I've heard a lot of Jewish people put a preposition at the beginning of the sentence as opposed to in the middle or the end. That could be viewed as anti-Semitic by a lot of especially sensitive folks. It is, of course, not. And with the whole sort of like rebel flag thing in question in this day and age, and with Jerry Seinfeld himself coming out and saying comedians shouldn't play colleges, you can't be funny at colleges because it's too much PC nonsense, I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk about what is or is not offensive a little later on in the show. But first and foremost, we are lucky enough to be joined by storyteller extraordinaire Sam Jewburger Firestein on the show today. And wait a second, is that one of those things? Can I not say Jewburger? Is that okay?
I teed it up for you, so it's okay. But you only can say it in my presence.
Okay, it's not all right. Yeah, it's like saying
you
the
need
N-word
a fixer there.
Wrong.
Right now, I'm your fixer.
Okay, sweet. I need one of those. You are my Jewish Robin Quivers. Like I can say as many wildly appropriate things.
Wow.
Anyways, wow. Let's find another rock layer. See if we can't dig ourselves a little bit deeper. We are joined by multiple Moth Story Slam winner Sam Firestein on the show today. An incredibly talented writer, producer, and teller of tales. And we're thrilled to have him on the show to relate to us a story of the pizza party of death. Is this appropriate music?
Oh, yeah. It's my heart song.
Shall we get right into it?
Let's go.
Take it away, Sam.
All right. So a couple of years ago, I was at this Italian restaurant, Palermo's, and I was only there because my buddy Brian, it was his birthday, and his idea of celebrating was to make all of his friends eat pizza. And, the thing was, he was 39 years old, right? Like 39. 9 years old, fine, have a pizza party. Everybody has pizza when they're 9 years old, but 39, it's like, dude, come on. Don't make us eat dough and cheese. And the thing was, it wasn't that I was against like a guy having a splurge on his birthday, but pretty much for Brian, like Diet